Sophia will tell the story of how I reclaimed control of my life and ended my husband Xander's toxic influence. For privacy reasons, I'll be using pseudonyms. As a high-profile attorney in my state, maintaining anonymity is essential. I won't waste time recounting the full arc of our relationship. We met, fell in love, got married, and eventually divorced. It became clear the love wasn't mutual. Xander cheated. The signs were all there: his growing distance, frequent business trips, and the way he seemed to vanish into thin air whenever I needed him most. Despite my own success as a lawyer, Xander often belittled me for earning less than him. He made sure I felt inferior. I wasn't involved in his thriving business empire, and he saw my legal career as more of a hobby than an accomplishment. One day, while he was away on yet another of his mysterious trips, I decided to look deeper. On an old laptop he'd long forgotten, I found a secret Facebook account. There, buried in flirtatious messages and private photos, was the truth. He was having an affair with a stunning woman he clearly adored. She was everything he claimed I wasn't. He'd always been critical of my appearance, but now I saw how deeply he'd meant it. I was heartbroken, enraged. I confronted him immediately. "Xander, are you cheating on me?" "I have proof," I said. His response was ice cold. "Sophia, you're just not interesting anymore. You're always buried in your ridiculous legal work. You stopped caring about me, and let's be honest, you're not exactly a supermodel." My voice shook. "What are you even saying? You knew what my job entailed when you married me. I haven't neglected you. You're the one who started disappearing, shutting me out." That moment confirmed everything. I had expected guilt, at least a flicker of remorse. Instead, he doubled down, making me the villain. "Honestly," he said, "I'm glad you found out. Now I don't have to keep hiding my girlfriend. She's beautiful, and we'll build a perfect life together. You were never enough for me, Sophia." "She is." His words hit like a freight train. It wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. I stood there, shattered, as the man I'd loved for over a decade tore down my worth in seconds. With tears in my eyes, I asked, "How could you say that? After everything, every vow, every sacrifice?" He didn't flinch. "It doesn't matter. I've moved on. I'm a successful businessman, and I need someone who reflects that. You're just ordinary." "Xander, I've supported you for years," I said, barely holding it together. "I may not be your version of beautiful, but I've always been loyal. I've been a good wife." He scoffed. "Don't flatter yourself. I've already decided. I'm divorcing you. The papers are ready. I've hired a real lawyer. You should move out. I don't want to see your ugly face again." Hours later, a mutual acquaintance dropped off the divorce papers. He looked at me with sympathy I didn't ask for. I accepted the envelope in silence, closed the door, and finally let the weight of it all collapse on top of me. I cried hard. But not for long. I made a decision that night. I would not let this man break me. I was done being diminished. I was going to take back my power and make him regret ever underestimating me. When Xander's friend handed me the documents, he let something slip. Xander had mentioned that the divorce might drag out. It didn't make sense until I remembered the prenup. If he cheated, I was entitled to half of his business. Xander hadn't forgotten. He was stalling, hoping I'd give up what was rightfully mine. He thought I was too broken to fight back. He was wrong. The very next morning, I called his lawyer and requested a meeting. Within 48 hours, I moved out of Xander's house and into the home I owned in my name, my childhood sanctuary. I packed up, left without a trace, and sent him one final message. "I've taken my ugly face and body out of your damn house." His reply was smug. "Glad you're not making a fuss. My lawyer's top tier." I replied, "I'm keeping my business. That's for sure. Stay away from me." Then I cut him off entirely. "You'll speak to me only through my attorneys, and I expect my belongings cleared from the house." That marked the moment my grief transformed into fury, and that fury became clarity. Xander had no idea what he'd just unleashed. Neither did his attorney, Jake. I arranged to meet Jake at a neutral location, a cafe. When he saw me, I noticed his hands tremble slightly. He composed himself, recognizing me quickly. Jake wasn't bad at his job, but he hadn't been told the full story. He didn't know he'd be facing an opponent just as sharp, just as practiced, and far more motivated. He tried to mask his nerves. I chose not to intimidate him further. After all, Jake wasn't the enemy. I greeted him calmly. "Hello, Jay. Nice to see you here," I said, watching Jake's surprise register. "In case there's any doubt, yes, I'm the wife." Jake's face flushed. "Ma'am, I wasn't expecting you. The surnames don't match because I kept my maiden name after law school," I explained. "I use it professionally." "Ah, I see," Jake muttered, clearly uncomfortable. "So, I take it you're planning to delay the divorce proceedings?" "That's what my client implied." I leaned in, my voice calm but sharp. "Your client lied to you. He's the one trying to stall. You've been misled, Jake. And I know Xander well enough to predict every move before he makes it." Jake shifted in his seat, uneasy. I didn't blame him. Xander's lies were coming undone, and Jake had walked straight into the fire. "You don't have to confirm anything," I said. "I was married to that man for over 10 years. I know exactly how he operates." Still, I felt a twinge of pity. Jake was just doing his job. He didn't sign up for this chaos. "Since I know you, and I think you deserve the full picture, I'll tell you the truth about this divorce." Jake looked surprised. "What do you mean, ma'am? Did Xander mention he cheated on me?" I asked, watching his reaction closely. Jake blinked, caught off guard. He hesitated. "No, he didn't mention that. He just said you'd be making dramatic accusations, that you were out to ruin him." I gave a dry laugh. "Oh, Jake, you poor thing. Xander's played you just like he tried to play me, though he did say you're one of the best lawyers out there." "That's flattering, I guess, but I'm nowhere near your league, ma'am," Jake admitted. "Honestly, I wish he had told me his wife was a lawyer. He just said you worked at a firm." "Of course he did," I said. "He never respected my career, never saw my success as real, but it was smart of me to push for that prenup, even if I didn't realize at the time how much I'd need it." Jake stiffened at the word prenup. He looked like I'd dropped a live grenade in his lap. "There's the prenup?" he asked, blinking. "He never mentioned one. Do you have proof?" I smiled. "Naturally. I brought the papers with me. I had a feeling Xander would conveniently forget about it, but I didn't." Jake stared at me, clearly thrown off his game. "I'd appreciate a look at the document, and if you have any proof of the affair." "Oh, I brought everything," I said coolly. "Text messages, photos, even his secret Facebook account." "Like I said, Jake, I'm not the one dragging this out. The faster we settle this, the better for everyone." I reached into my bag and handed him the stack of documents, organized, annotated, airtight. I watched as Jake quietly sifted through them, his expression darkening with every turn of the page. Finally, he looked up with a defeated sigh. "This is comprehensive," he said. "I had no idea about any of this." "I figured," I replied, "and I know how hard it is to work with clients who conveniently leave out important facts, especially when the opposing counsel isn't easily intimidated." "You're absolutely right, ma'am," Jake said, setting the papers down gently. "I think I need to have a serious conversation with my client before proceeding. Someone will reach out to you soon, although I can't guarantee it'll be me." I caught the implication in his words but didn't press it. He was a professional, and so was I. We both knew this case wasn't going to end well for Xander. I stood up. "Thanks for your time, Jake." He nodded, still visibly rattled. I left the cafe with my head high and heart steady. The grief that had once consumed me had burned away, replaced by cold, focused fire. I went straight to work, ready to finalize my own legal filings. No more mourning, no more wondering. Only one goal remained now: to make sure Xander faced every consequence of his betrayal. And I knew, without a doubt, he had no escape. I've actually put my relationship on hold because I realize now what a huge mistake I made. Maybe, just maybe, we can give this marriage another try. I really believe this hurdle will only make us stronger." Xander's words made me laugh, loudly and without restraint. The audacity. This man had a talent for rewriting history and expecting applause for it. I didn't even know what to say at first. He was seriously trying to get back together, as if I was stupid enough to fall for his empty promises. Again. Yes, I had already heard the rumors. His mistress wasn't happy, neither was he. Their so-called love affair was falling apart faster than his finances. But if Xander thought that was enough for me to welcome him back with open arms, then he was more delusional than I thought. I already made the mistake of marrying trash once. I had learned the hard way. And I knew exactly why he suddenly wanted to reconcile. You must be out of your mind, Xander, I said. I didn't get this far in life by being that naive. Let's not kid ourselves, you want to try again because you're terrified of splitting your business. He shifted, caught, still. He tried again. Sophia, we were happy. Just once, can't we look past it? I'll cut her off, I swear. Don't bother, I said coolly. That woman's going to run anyway once she realizes you won't be rich anymore. As for me, this is my golden ticket out of a sham of a marriage. And thank you, by the way, for showing your true colors before we had kids. You're about to reap exactly what you sowed. That was it. I was done. I let the silence hang while Xander kept begging, pleading, for me not to take his business away. It was almost pathetic, but not pitiful enough for me to feel sorry. I remembered the nights I cried alone while he enjoyed someone else's company. Now it was his turn to suffer. Watching him squirm gave me a deep, cold satisfaction. This was justice. All I wanted now was a clean break. I got more than I'd ever hoped for. Karma came for Xander swiftly. He spent weeks trying to change my mind, blowing up my phone, showing up unannounced. I ignored every attempt. I was done playing supporting actress in his personal drama. Since he had already filed for divorce, thinking he could control the narrative, I had someone from my firm represent me. I don't specialize in divorce law, and more importantly, I didn't want to look at him again unless necessary. After a month of begging and posturing, he finally broke down. He knew if I took it to court, the evidence of his affair and the prenup would bury him. He would be publicly humiliated and bleed money on court-appointed lawyers. So he waved the white flag and asked for a mutual split. The prenup made things simple, clean, brutal. According to the terms, he owed me half his business if he cheated. I had proof, so he signed it over, no other choice. We even gave him the option to buy me out. But guess what? He had no money. Why would a supposedly successful businessman be broke? Because he spent everything on his mistress. Lavish gifts, expensive trips, flashy dinners, and now that she realized he wasn't going to be rich anymore? She ghosted him, stopped taking his calls, didn't respond to texts. Classic gold digger exit. But she wasn't even the worst of his problems. With his business halved, his income took a nosedive. He couldn't afford his mansion anymore, couldn't even keep up with the mortgage. He had to sell it and is now renting a modest condo, a far cry from the luxury he used to flaunt. And yes, he tried to win me back again, hoping that maybe, just maybe, I'd hand him back full control of the business. That'll happen the day hell freezes over. As for me, I'm thriving. I hired someone to manage my share of the business, and they've been doing an excellent job. My career is booming. I bought myself a gorgeous new mansion. My lifestyle? Upgraded. My peace? Unshakable. I'm living my best life. Xander thought he could manipulate me, play me, discard me. Instead, he ended up destroying his own life. And I came out stronger, richer, and happier. The best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's winning. And I won.